stand up so tall in the face of the perils of life, yet we cower and beg when we know that we've come to the end. And while I'm no smarter than anyone, I won't be surprised that the one thing the great and the lowest all share. You know I'll bear my own burden, I'll carry the weight of the world if I have to. No, I'm not afraid, I know how it will happen. I've seen it all clear as the day. He's gonna come my way like a roaring thunder. It's my day. I'll be there. I'm gonna come like the sunset. There'll be nothing for no one to bury when I'm in my head. Thousands of days we're asleep, even while we're awake. With our bodies beginning to fail us, we open our eyes. And I may have lived harder than most, but it's a choice that I made. Nobody gets what they want without paying the price. So don't tell me you're sorry like someone's to blame. I knew what I signed up for, to hell with the pain. And I know how my day's gonna come. It looks nothing like that. He's gonna come my way like a roaring thunder. It's my day. I'll be there. I'm gonna come like the sunset. There'll be nothing for no one to bury when I'm in my head. I see angels and demons right here on the ground. Still we make some.
That's it. I'm sorry, friends. I had a little repetition happening there. Welcome, Eric Andres, your Guitar Sage here. Welcome to the Guitar Show. It is February the 25th. We're going to have a blast today. Today I'm going to show you how to take two chords that you already know and make 120 chords. You literally will walk away today taking these two chords and you're going to have the ability to create 120 chords from them that you will have memorized. I'm not joking. Memorized as in, I've never counted to 1,000,000, but I know I could do it because there's a protocol. There's a specific way to do it, right? You got the 1 through 9, you got the decimal system, and it just keeps moving over. So I know I could count to 1,000,000,000 if I wanted to. I've never done it before, but I could. You could too, just because you know how to do that. You know the protocol, the way to do something. Same thing is true with what I'm about to show you today. Is I'm going to show you a method so that you can do this, okay? Or similar to phonics, where you sound out syllables. You could give a kid a word and they could look at it. With phonics, they can actually read the word and they may not have ever read that word ever in their lives. That's the way I prefer to teach. Because, as the old expression goes, right, teach a man to fish, or give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. If you give a man a fish, he eats for that moment. If you teach the man to fish, then he can fish for his lifetime, right? So that's really the way that I like to help my students. I like to make them independent. I don't want them to have to come to me for forever, for their sake, right? And for my sake. So I want to give them what it is that they need to move forward. So that's what we're going to be doing today. 2 chords becomes 120 chords, all right? Welcome, friends. Few things I want to tell you about before we get started. I will be looking at your chat. I will be. And I'll answer those questions. And we'll get to those after our little mini lesson here. Couple things. You'll see a pinned comment at the very top. It's in blue there. If you would like to donate to the tip jar there, that's the way to do it. You can buy the kids a coffee, buy them a burrito or something like that. I say the kids, me and Mike and Josh and the crew here. All right, there's that. By the way, what you just heard, and I'm sorry, I had 2 things going on at once. I had a repeat of the daggone seminar of our broadcast here. I'm sorry. Nonetheless, that was Gabriel the Bull, which is a new project that I'm working with right now. My buddy Gabriel, great singer, great songwriter, and I'm playing guitar for the band, and they've got some great stuff. You can check them out if you go to GabrielTheBull.com. You can check that out, and then you can follow Instagram and all the other fun stuff where we're doing stuff, okay? Anything else? Yeah, before we get started, we just ran out of our last batch of dueling Ninja pedals. We just literally ran out, and we just got another batch back there sitting. We got 13 sitting, and they're ready to go. So for those that have been going to the website, I know you've been doing it, and you've been seeing that we're back ordered. Well, we got some again. We have 13 of them. I'm telling you, these are fresh out of the oven. They're tasty. You're going to want to get them. Go to my store, YourGuitarSage.com. If you want to get them, now's the time to do it because they're not going to last long, as usual. What else? Oh, something else really exciting coming up, friends. We have a referral program coming on here soon, probably within 2 weeks. If you are a pro member, if you're a classic member, or if you're a standard member, we've got you or if you're not a member at all, we've got you covered. Basically, we're setting up a referral program because you kind folks are always letting others know about what we're doing here at Your Guitar Sage, with all the artists that we're working with all the courses that we're building with Robbie Calvo, RJ Ronquillo, Corey Congilio, Joe Robinson. We just did 3 courses with Joe here. We've got Dave Cleveland coming in the studio. We got Chip Henderson, who's going to be dropping a course. We just dropped a course with Jeff Duke. We're going to be dropping another course with him. We're busy bees here. We're also coming out with a vocal instruction course. We're going to be doing that. That's in the works right now. We're doing some other stuff, some other things that are going to marry themselves great with what it is we're trying to do, which is perform and get songs out and what have you. Speaking of songs, my wife, Melissa Pierce, she's also going to be building a course with us and is building or has a book as well. So that's coming soon. Okay? All right, good. Let's get going here. Thanks so much for letting me blabber on there for just a moment. And we have another fun little surprise for you right after the lesson. In fact, Mike, if I forget, after the lesson, let's do that, and then we'll go into questions, the fail of the week, if you will. Okay, so let's talk about this. You've heard me say it before, that anything you do in the open position of the guitar, you can do further up the neck. Chords, scales, riffs, it does not matter. You're just doing it in another key as you move it up the fretboard. When I learned this concept as a kid, my mind was blown because I realized how powerful it is. Basically, anything that you do in the open position, you can do further up the neck in all 12 keys. There are 12 keys. Did you know that? Yep, 12 and 12 keys only. And so, if we learn 10 chords and we multiply that times 12 different keys, we get 120 chords. Easy enough. So realistically, even though you're going to be walking away with 120 chords today, realistically, we only have to memorize 10 of them. Now, to make it even more fun, these are tiny little tweaks. Tiny tweaks. once I show you and I show you the reason why it is that we're tweaking them and what have you, you're going to get this in your noggin and you're going to walk away with 120 new chords instantly available to you. Not only is it that cool, but these are the chords that you're going to be using the most. What are those chords, Eric? So glad you asked. Major, minor, seventh, minor seventh, major seventh. Those are literally the chords that you're going to play more than any other chords in the history of ever. In all genres, even jazz. If you're gonna, I mean, there's plenty of other chords in jazz, right, that you're gonna hear, but the ones that you're gonna hear a lot are seventh chords, minor seventh chords, major seventh chords. Those are the ones you're gonna hear the most. And so better to know the stuff you're gonna use the most than the stuff you're gonna not need for a long, long time, right? Pareto's rule, I talk about it all the time, Pareto's principle. Learn 20% of the right stuff, you can take care of 80% of the job, okay? Okay, so let's do this. We're basing this off of 2 chords. And by the way, if you were here Tuesday with us, thank you for being here again. We had some sort of Comcast failure. We didn't. Comcast did. They failed us again. So, sorry. Out of our hands, but we're back. So thank you so much. 2 chords that you need to know in order to do this. E major, also known as the E chord, and A major, also known as the A chord. You probably know these. If you don't, you should know them because I'm giving you the free course, right? The standard unstoppable guitar system that has the 9 essential chords in it, and 2 of those chords are E major and A major. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YourGuitarSage.com/30, thank you, Mike. Take advantage of that. We've had over 500,000 people go through that already. If you've been through that, friends, type 30 on the screen. Let other folks know I'm not playing around. This is for real. We've had 500,000 people go through this. So, and it will absolutely change the way you think about the guitar. If you're in pro, let other folks know you're pro. Yeah, right? Okay, here we go. So, E major looks like this. I'm going to assume you know it. Otherwise, if not, then you're going to go to my course, and I'm giving it to you for free, so you're going to learn it there. Here's E major. We're going to start with that one. Now, remember, anything that we do, well, I tell you what, we won't even talk about the bar chord concept yet. Let's just stay down here in the lower bout here, lower section here. So here's E major. A major chord is a 1, 3, and 5 from the major scale. You don't have to know what that means, but just know that it's the 1, 3, 5. And a minor chord is a 1 flat 3, 5. So it means the third, which is this note right here, is flatted. So we play it a half step low, so then the chord becomes. So here is an E major chord, here is an E minor chord. Easy enough, right? Literally moving that one finger, that's all you need to do, and that changes the chord from major to minor. It would be true for any of these bar chords, as we're going to see as well, okay? So there's E major, lift the first finger, it's a minor chord, okay? How hard is that to remember? Here's how you can remember it. This one sounds happy, right? This one sounds sad. Now, remember, we're going to learn 10 chords. We've already learned 2 of them. We're going to learn 5 that have the low E as the bass, what we call a 6th string root chord. And then we're going to learn 5 that have the A in the bass. That's the 5th string, and those are called 5th string root chords, okay? Back to our 6th string root chord. So here's our A, here's our E major, also known as an E. Lift that first finger, we have an E minor. Okay? Now, this little guy right here is an octave. This is also an E note. Here's a low E. Here's one octave up. Here's another E right here. There's 3 E's in there. This note right here, if we noodle around with this note, now what's going to happen is we are going to get the 7th that we're looking for, which is going to give us 2 more chords. Okay? If this goes back one whole step, or open, we're at the 2nd fret here, this finger. If I lift that finger up, second fret of the 4th string. We lift that finger up, then we play that note open. That's a D. And if we put the D into the E major chord and into the E minor chord, remember, anytime we say a major chord, we can just say the letter name, E. So we're talking about an E chord. If we wanted an E7, we drop that one note back a whole step. I'll show you that. And if we have an E minor chord, then we have an E minor 7. We call it the 7th because it's the 7th scale step of the major scale. It's actually the flatted 7 of the major scale, but we won't get into all that right now. Just you're going to have to trust me on that. Okay, so here's the E major, right? Really simple. Just like toggling back and forth between E major and E minor with our first finger, if we toggle back and forth, we lift that ring finger up here. So it's going from the 2nd fret of the 4th string to the open of the 4th string. Listen to the quality of this course. Listen to the quality of this chord. Here's E major. Here's E7. Or here's E and here's E7. Here's E. Here's E7. Okay? E, E7. Okay? Now, if we could do that same thing, if we go to the minor chord, which remember, we're just lifting that first finger up. Boop. Now we're minor. So we know that already. But if we lift this finger up, we're adding that 7th note to it, that flatted 7th note, and this is what we call an E minor 7. Boop. Just lift that finger up. This is the first chord that I would always teach my students because they could strum all the strings and you just had to put one finger down and it was really easy. So you put your 2nd finger down at the 2nd fret of the 5th string. You're going to strum all the notes just like this. That's an E minor 7. Let's listen to the difference. Here's E minor. Here's E minor 7. E minor. E minor 7. That's 4 chords so far, friends. 4 chords. That's great, okay? Now, we're going to do what we call a major 7 chord. Now, why do they call it a major 7? Well, when we're talking about music, the distance between notes are called intervals. Unlike how we might use them outside of music, an interval is a bit of time, right? It's the distance that spans between one moment and the next. When we're talking about music, we're talking about the distance between one note and the next. So if I said the difference or distance between a G and a G sharp, that distance or interval is a half step. If I said the distance between G and A, that's 2 frets. That is an interval of a whole step. Well, they also have names to them like a 5th, a perfect 5th, a minor 7th, or a flat 7, according to the major scale. We're using these names as they relate to the major scale. What's the major scale, Eric? Well, you know it by the sound of it. Right? We could play it on several strings or across one string. And it goes like this. Now that we know the intervals, we can play any note. And if we follow this pattern of whole step, half step, whole, half, we get our major scale. Most of you know this because you've gone through my course, the free course already, but if you haven't, friend, this is where all that stuff's going to be, and it's really, really important. It's the most important videos that you're ever going to watch ever in your life regarding guitar. That's not a pitch, that is just the truth. It's also a pitch, but it's true, okay? It can be true at the same time. It'll help you a ton. So we're going to do that pattern, whole, half, whole, half, and then we've got the major scale. So here's one note, that's a G, so we're going to play a G major scale. So we say whole, half, whole, half. Again, it's covered in the course. We don't need to go down the detail right now. But I can also play it like this. And so each one of these notes has a scale degree or name. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Boy, that was hard, wasn't it? 1 or 8, since it's the octave. 1 or 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy enough, right? Those are scale degrees. They're just named like you're walking up or down steps. So they have names. So when we take the E major chord and we have the 8 up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we take that 8 and we drop it down to the open note here. That's called a flatted 7 or a minor 7. So intervals can actually have names too. You'll learn that in the course as well. If this is a minor 7, then this would be a major 7. And that's why we call that chord a major 7. Or sorry, here it is like this. And in fact, let me do it this way. We have, sorry, I'm going to have to rethink this one. There we go. So we're going to play it like this. That's going to be our major 7 chord. Now, I'm going to show you, I think I'm going to wait on that one a minute, because once I show the bar chord version of it, it's going to make more sense than showing it to you in the open position, okay? We'll come back to this, but I promise you the way I'm going to show you is going to make it easier. Hey, that's what they pay me to do, is to make things easy, okay? So just trust me on that. So we learned the major, we learned the minor, we learned the 7th, also known as the dominant 7th chord. Duke, the course that I'm talking about is the free course that I'm giving you. It's the very first link, should be the very first link below. It's Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. It absolutely will change the way that you think about guitar, and I'm giving it to you. So very first link below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. All right, so we got major, we got minor 7th, we have 7th. And we said we're going to do major 7th, but I'm going to show you the bar chord version of that. And in fact, why don't we do it right now? We're here, okay? Any one of these chords, you can move up the neck. Some of you know this, some of you don't, so let's go over it for those that don't know it. If I'm playing this chord like this, right? This note, this, and this are open strings, meaning I can have my hand off the guitar, and it doesn't matter whether my fingers are on there or not, because I'm not pressing those strings. They're open. It's what we call open. Now, if I were to move these fingers up, I can't play the same notes with them sounding very good, okay? That's because the other notes are staying there while I'm moving my hand up. They're not moving in the same direction. One's staying, one's moving up, so they're going to start sounding weird. So we need to move everything up. How do we do that? Well, we could use a capo. You've seen these before, right? You do this, and then you can play the guitar like that, as if the nut was moved up. It's called the capo or capo, however you want to pronounce it. I pronounce it quapo. That's just me. So here's E minor, and we can move that up. But what do we need to do to move that up? Well, we would need a capo, but really, realistically, a bar chord. Mike's saying bar chords make his head explode. No, Mike, I promise you, stick around and just watch this. They're not gonna. You're gonna get this, but you gotta focus. Okay, focus with me. I'll get you there. So in order for us to play this as a bar chord, I need to free up this finger. Right now, I'd have to reach back here, drop my shoulder. That's a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is, instead of playing that with fingers 2 and 3, I'm going to play it with fingers 3 and 4 to free up that first finger so I can get a lot of leverage there, okay? Now, I can play this chord with that in that same way. Now, if I want to move it up, then everything moves up uniformly. And now, one chord becomes 12 chords. So it's a G, G sharp minor, A minor, A sharp minor, B minor, C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, D sharp minor, and so on and so forth. And then we stop. So at the 12th fret, where you've got the 2 dots right here, that's you're gonna see that that's 1 octave. What we mean by octave is it's at the top, it's at the bottom and the top of the scale, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, do. They're the same. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or 8. Basically, it's a repeat. It's the same note again. If we were going through the if we were going through the colors, Roy G. Biv, You got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, like 7 notes in the scale. Then we start over again. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, right? Double rainbow. So there you go. So anything that we do in the lower section here, we can move up the neck, and that's what we just did with this minor chord. We can do it with a major chord too. Instead of playing fingers 1, 2, 3, I'll use fingers 2, 3, 4, and then we just move up like that. Now you understanding the concept and you being able to play them are two separate things. Don't mix the water. The reason why I'm saying this is some people go, I just suck at bar chords. I can't do it. And then they forget what I just taught them. Look, you can conceptually understand this and not play the bar chords. And good for you if you conceptually understand it and didn't before, but now you get it. The part where you're playing it, that's going to take some time, okay? For sure. That's going to take time. It took everybody time. But every good thing is worth you working for. So, even if you just start understanding the concepts but can't actually play the chord yet, then cool, then we're getting somewhere, all right? Don't freak out. So just know that we can move that up the fretboard. Same thing with the 7th chord. Instead of playing that with fingers 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, I'll play it with 2 and 3, freeing up my first finger, and now I can move that up the fretboard. Anything that we do in the open position, we can do further up the fretboard. Cool? Same thing with the minor 7th chords. Instead of my 2nd finger, I'll use my 3rd finger, and just walk them up the fretboard. Easy enough, okay? The playing part, I know, takes some getting used to. That's also why I give you the exercises that I give you inside that free course as well, right? Strengthen those fingers. Okay, so I said that we would do the major 7th here. I need to hurry along. Boy, do I need to hurry along. All right, major 7th. So a major 7th is when we just take a regular E major chord like this, okay? Take a regular E major chord, and this note doesn't go down a whole step to the open position. That doesn't do that. It goes down a half step, so it's like this. Okay. Now, that won't translate when we're barring because we need to have this finger freed up. So we do something a little bit different. We sacrifice a note. And so, realistically, I could sacrifice this 5th string and I could just play all the other notes but that. Okay, and then if I wanted to make a bar chord out of that, I'm going to free up. I'm going to use 3 and 4 here. So I'm going to do this. Okay, now what that allows me to do is to move up the fretboard. So I need to move up the 6th and the first string. So it's going to look something like this. And actually, we won't use the 1st string. With this position, we won't use that, okay? So basically, it looks like an A minor chord. This is how I remember it. It looks like an A minor chord, right? But instead of that note being here, you're going to bump it up to the 6th string and up a fret. I'm not expecting you guys to get all of this right now, okay? I'm definitely not. So if you're having a little bit of like, oh my God, that's too much and too short of a time, it is. I'm trying to give you a lot here. But you can walk away with the concepts of understanding this and still not be able to play the chords. That takes time. No one is going to be able to just show you one little thing and you're going to get it like that. You have to practice it, right? The concept you may get, we'll get that aha moment. So we got 5 chords there, times 12, that's 60. Okay, let's look at this using the A chord, okay? I'm going to go quicker on this one because some of these concepts we just went over. I won't have to explain them again, but I do have to show you what to do with your fingers here, okay? So here's an A chord. I'm muting this 6th string here because we don't want it, with my thumb here, I'm muting that. We don't want that note to sound out. So we can also bar this like, okay? Now, that takes a little getting used to if you want to hit that high E string. I know it's a problem for folks, but don't worry, it's a problem for everybody, okay? Now, if we want to move that up the fretboard, then we can do so, but we're going to wait a minute. Let's take this A major. And we said that if we take the 3rd, which is this note, 2nd fret, 2nd string, and we drop it back a half step, that creates the minor sound. So we have to take an A major, and then we get our A minor chord. Get it? Cool. Now remember, this middle note here is the note that makes it a seventh. So here's our A major, here, or A chord, here's our A7. I usually play it like this instead of with my pinky. So A major, A7, but I play it like this. Same thing with the minor chord, A minor. We lift that finger up, we have the A minor 7. Okay. And lastly, we've got an A major 7 chord. Take an A chord, and remember the A major 7, we just drop this guy back a half a step. Okay, a half step. So we could form this like this. Some people play their A major chord like that instead of like this. They put that first finger in the middle. So if you're that guy, then you get to do this. You just drop that finger back, and then your A major 7 is super easy, just like that. Now if we wanted to play that as a bar chord, we'd have to free up the first finger, right? Because that's our bar. So I'm playing the same finger, or the same chord with fingers 2, 3, 4. Bar chords right here. Now we can move that up. So any of these forms that I just showed you can also move up. So the A minor, got to free up that first finger, always have to do that. So on and so forth. Same thing with the A chord. Could do it like this, or I could bar it. Same thing with we did minor 7, now here's minor 7. With the 7th chord, free up that. Okay, very easy to conceptually understand. Let me hold off. Let me not say that. When you get it, okay, and you might need to watch this again, once you get it, it's easy, conceptually. You're never going to forget it. Now, playing the chords, yes, it does take some time. And I've got the medicine for what ails you. Here on YouTube, you could search effing F chord, E-F-F-I-N-G, and you'll see a video where I teach you how to manipulate your fingers, how to hold your hand, how to hold your wrist and stuff like that, to where you can start getting the chord. Then when you practice that, it becomes a routine and it just becomes part of you. So when you see somebody playing these bar chords like I did at the beginning of the program here for that tune, I was using all sorts of bar chords, right? It becomes just like part of your repertoire once you get it. Okay, I promise you'll get this. All right. Now, let's go ahead and let's get those questions ready. While you're getting the questions ready, we've got a fun little segment. We're going to start bringing back our segments just to make the show more lively, to where we're not just learning. Learning's fun, but let's have some fun with this stuff too, okay? So this is a new little segment that we like to call Fail of the Week. And I am just addicted to these on YouTube. It's so fun. And so why do I show these? I show these, one, because they're fun, they're funny, and two, if you think that you're going to mess up more than these people on stage, you probably are not going to. Okay, so let's check this out. This is our Fail of the Week.
In your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. And you are mine. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in in the presence of my Savior.
Yeah, it's great. All right, thanks, Mike. Right? How about that? Music's a conversation, and that guy, if you guys were whispering in a movie, he'd be like, "Yeah, well, you should have seen the other day when I was," that he's that guy. Music's a conversation, so like that was nice. She was nice and chill. It was nice worship music and whatever. Should have come in with a beat, but he was, obviously a new drum set there. All right, let's get to some questions. The Spirit moved him, indeed, right? Like Animal on the Muppets, exactly. All right, so friends, with these questions, what I want you to do is please put all caps and a question mark. That'll help me to filter through these pretty quickly. But I am going to go backwards a little bit here. What's the correct positioning for bar chords? So that's a really broad statement, Mike. They're all different. Everyone's different, right? Your fingers are different. So we would be here for hours and hours and hours answering that one. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Thanks so much for the donation, Camus. Love your lessons, Eric. If you're teaching basic chords for people to learn, why not work solely with triads to start, such as major, minor, and suspended? Camus, because now I teach all sorts of triads. By the way, thank you for the kind donation. So I teach triads because it's good to understand the subject of triads, which, friends, is a 3-note chord, and understanding what makes them different, right? Is you're just breaking them down to the bare essentials. It'd be like very simple cooking where we're using acid and salt and sugar and what have you, those flavors, so you can understand without getting a complicated recipe. That's what we're doing when we're looking at triads. But why start off that way? Because, chemists, no one uses triads when they're playing songs. They want these big chords. They want, there's a lot of muting involved when it comes to triads or very intricate picking, right? You have to just pick 3 notes. So you can't do those big strums and stuff. It makes it real boring for folks that really want to dig into some chords. So it's not very applicable to real songs. Okay. Have I heard of Django chords? Do you think they're worth looking into? Amber, if you like Django Reinhardt, then I would say yeah. So Django Reinhardt was one arguably the best gypsy jazz players of all time. And he was known throughout the country as that. And he was involved in an accident, saving his wife from a fire, and his left hand got messed up to where these 2 fingers became gnarled. And I forgot what happened, how that happened. I don't know how a fire does that, but nonetheless, these 2 fingers got gnarled. They curled up, and he couldn't like make them go out like this. So you can still see him. There's a few videos on YouTube where he's playing, and he's just using these 2 fingers, and he's flying. And every now and then he can get, I think, the pinky or this finger up. He can get it up for 1 chord, right? So those chords are limited chords. They're chords that he was able to do, because obviously if you can only work with 2.5 fingers, then you're not going to be able to do things that other people can do. So he worked with the hand that was dealt to him, and no pun intended, and he's an amazing player. So I wouldn't be going after his chords, since he specifically made those chords, right? He came up with those chords so that he was able to do them. If that's what you mean by Django chords, I would guess, because if you have all your fingers, then you're probably good. If you had the same scenario as him, then you may want to look into those. The heat shortened his tendons. Could be, yeah, it could be so. What are the most used worship chords? The most used worship chords are what I call the 9 essential chords that I give you guys in Unstoppable Guitar System Standard for free. The very first link below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Those 9 essential chords not only are the chords that you're going to use most in worship music, but also the ones you're going to be using the most in country, pop, blues, rock. Bar none, you're going to use those chords 95% more than bar chords or anything else that we put together, okay? You're going to use those 95% of the time, seriously. So check into that. That is, I forgot what lesson it is in there, but maybe like 10, 15 lessons in, something like that. Okay. Good questions. Being a drummer, that's embarrassing. Yeah. Okay. Someone's asking why the handkerchief. Well, because in case I have to blow my nose, it's very convenient. No, I don't like wearing masks, and really haven't, except for the 2 weeks that we were supposed to. So I don't do that, but I'll pop this on when I need to, when people are, freaking out, then I'll do it, but I don't. Come on already. All right. Have I ever played in church? Yes, I have. I've played in worship bands and been in, like other bands that weren't worship bands that played in churches and stuff, so I've done that, yeah. It's been years, though. Value of arpeggios when improving your improvisational skills. Connor. So understanding where the chord is very important. As far as arpeggios, to me, they're cliche. And what I mean by that is not the negative version of cliche. They're just a cliche. It's like something that you could use. Some people overuse them. You got to know where your chord shapes are. That's really important. Jazz, it really works well. With other genres, I feel like it can sound too arpeggiated. It can sound too much like an arpeggio, like, oh, the guy's just playing the notes of the chords. I personally don't love that sound. So I'm aware of the chords, and I noodle my stuff around it. That thing that I did earlier that you guys heard with Gabriel the Bull, that bit that I did here, where I was like this. When I did that, I was using arpeggios, lots of arpeggios. So I'm basing that off of a G minor chord, and then I go. That's based off of a D sharp major chord. And then I played this, and that's based off of an F chord. Right there. Bar chord. I just showed you that, right? That's the A bar chord. It's an F note, and I just play the arpeggio with some chord noodling in there. So very important as far as sounding melodic and sounding like your improvisation's matching with your chord progression. It's very important, James is asking how to finger pick chords. James, so that is quite a lengthy question. That's kind of a whole lesson, and I've got lots of videos for you on that one. Search YourGuitarSage finger picking, or I believe that's in the standard course. In either way, you should be in that. But definitely on YouTube, I have videos on that, on finger picking. Thumb's going to take care of strings 6, 5, and 4, and fingers 1, 2, and 3 will take care of strings 3, 2, and 1. But the exercises that I have for you in regards to that are really, really important. All right. When I play those, is that the 1, the 3, and the 5? It is, Jimmy, because those are all major and minor chords that I was using. I wasn't using any sort of, like jazz chords, what we call jazz chords, but just triads, 1, 3, 5. Yes, sir. Okay, I've played guitar for years, but only know the pentatonic and a bunch of chord shapes to play random jams. No theory. Where can I start? Johan, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but there's a reason that we might have the most guitar students in the world. We're approaching 600,000 students, online students. These are folks that have gone through the course, not folks that we're teaching on YouTube. We have millions of those, but people who've actually gone through the course, we've had close to 600,000 out, and those 600,000 have gone through that free course that I'm giving you today, the standard course. I know I sound like a broken record, but years ago, I wrote a book. It's right there. And all of my lessons that I taught one-on-one were based upon these concepts of the place that you should start on guitar, and then building the next and the next and the next and the next. Why? Because, well, number one, because I taught guitar and I found that method of doing that worked like bonkers. And I didn't know it worked. I learned like you, where you just get a piece here and a piece there, and you're like, well, why doesn't this work? And why can't I do this? And what have you. But I didn't, my method for doing things developed over decades. So it's not like I just, pooped out a book and an idea and a methodology one day. It's like I said, no, man, this is the way. I've taught tens of thousands of lessons. So like assembling all of that stuff and then saying, this is how it works. That's exactly how I came up with that. That's an interesting shot there, Mike.
Hey, what happened there?
Hi.
Nice. You like that?
Okay, so.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. So Johan, start there. I promise you, there is no other place. Don't get distracted. This world is filled with distractions. Focus on that course that I'm giving you. When you get to the end of it, if you still need help, let me know. Otherwise, there's tons of people that have gotten there and they're like, boom, I know how to play the guitar. Putting tape on it, but it impairs my open chords. I don't know what that means. Okay. If you write a song, how do you determine which chords to use? Maverick, great question. So, I'm going to tell you where the chords come from. I'm going to tell you where these chords come from, and you'll want to write this stuff down. The chords come from the major scale, okay? If we play that note and we skip 2 notes to the next note, and we skip 2 notes to the next note, we have the 1, 3, and 5. And then we have a major chord. That makes a major chord. If we go to the second scale degree and we skip a note and we play that note, we skip another note, we play that note, then we have a minor chord. And if we keep doing that concept where we play that particular note, skip a note, play the next one, skip a note, play the next one, and we play those 3 notes, that's called a triad, and those create major, minor, and diminished chords. And so, in a major key, every single major key, the naturally occurring diatonic chords, diatonic meaning it's based on the major scale, go major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and back to major, okay? Or if we were playing these open chords, it'd be major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and major, okay? Literally, every major key, it goes major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7. That's just the way the universe, that's like basic, it's like math or music physics or something. It's just like the way things are. And we can go back and dissect it and see exactly why that is. And I teach that in my courses. I teach you exactly all that stuff. So for those that want to know why, that's what it is. So that's how you know. So if I'm in the key of G and you know your major scale, then you know what chords would work with that. Now, that being said, you can go outside of that, but it's like my analogy of a child painting a picture. If you see that the picture looks totally normal, I hate that word, normal, and then you see his sun is not normal. It's purple, but there are rays coming out of it, and there's birds flying and a kid flying a kite. You know automatically that that's about where the sun should sit in the sky on a kid's picture, but it's purple. Kid drew a purple sun. I know it's the sun, right? So you just know that it's in the right place. So that would be an example of a chord that would sit outside of the natural occurring diatonic chords, the ones that I just told you, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. It doesn't mean a kid can't draw a purple sun, and it doesn't mean that you can't say major, major, major instead of major, minor, minor. But just like that kid's purple sun, those other chords are going to sound like something's not quite right there. Now, with that being said, it'd be really boring if every time you saw the sun it was yellow, right? It's kind of cool to be creative. That's why we listen to the things we listen to. Is why we go see the movies that we go see. It's because they interest us, and they interest us because they're outside enough of what we're so used to seeing that we're there. If it becomes too far outside of it, we're like, I don't like that movie. It was weird, right? But if it's interesting enough, it's gonna intrigue us because we hadn't seen that thing before. Same thing with music and everything else. It's like there's enough tension there that keeps us interested, but not so much tension that it makes us uncomfortable and we don't want to watch it. So the same thing is true with these chords. So now that you know those chords, you can do this. Now, if you want to know what the chords are for the minor, you just start at the 6, because the 6, there's two tonal centers. There's the 1 and there's the 6. What I mean by that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So you can have a tonal center of a 1 or a tonal center of a 6, and that would be the minor. And so the chords are the same. Meaning if you're starting at that 6, it would be minor. The 7 would be diminished. The 1 would be major. The 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, and back to our 6 minor, which would be the tonal center. Okay, that's about as thorough as I can explain it to you in the short amount of time that we have to do that without me really explaining things, which would take longer. Okay, so you definitely want to start educating yourself. Again, that course that I give you guys it lays that foundation for you. You know. Okay. All right. How often do you guys practice? I need to create a schedule, Kyra's saying. You know, what I always say is this. I say, practice the amount that you want to be good. So if you want to be amazing, practice a lot. If you're completely fine with mediocrity, then just practice a medium amount. And if you love sucking, then don't practice that much. And it really is that simple. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about anything, but don't be concerned with what other people are doing, because they're on their highway going wherever they're going. Some people, you get behind them and you realize that they're going the wrong direction. You're following them. So if there's somebody who you really respect, you might want to find out what they do. And then, like I always say, if you want to be rich, you listen to the guy. You listen to someone who knows about money, right? If you want to lose weight, you listen to the guy who's lost weight. If you want to get off of drugs, you listen to the guy who's gotten off of drugs. Don't listen to the people that haven't done those things. They don't have any experience in that, right? Okay.
That was Kyra that accidentally hosted your Zoom.
I know, Kyra. Thank you so much. And we by the way, so we were on a Zoom call last night, friends, and something went wacky. We dropped, and our whole Zoom team everybody was on Zoom still. So I got dropped. It was the weirdest, and I was speaking with Kyra, and then she became the moderator, like all of a sudden. We're trying to log back in, and there she is moderating for us. And so we sent her out a little gift today with a package filled with goodies. So Kyra, thank you so much for taking care of that for us. Okay, Michael Jordan says, there are other factors into that, though, brother. What if you're a beginner and want to practice 3 hours a day, but you cannot physically do it? Well, if you can't physically do it, you won't do it, right? You want to, but you can't. So you're just going to practice what you can do. You know, I guess, George, this is Michael. This is what I say is like, you don't want to get stuck in the minutia. You want to understand these things in concepts of like, I want to be better, and I'm not getting any better. Why aren't I? Well, I need to practice more. Then you got to figure that out, right? You got to figure out where to find your time because you're in your head. I'm not in your head. You know your schedule and all the variables. I can't. You know, you've got to figure that stuff out, all like big boys and girls. But you know that the bottom line, you need to get better. Practice is what's gonna do it, you know? Okay. Okay, yeah, work up to it for sure. You know, and consistency is really important too, especially as a beginner, because if you're putting your fingers on those strings and it hurts, well, then you need to warm up to it. You could do things like having thinner strings. I think these are 11s or 12s on here, and I'm probably going to change them because I'm using this exclusively now with this band. Roberto, thanks so much for the donation, brother. I really, really appreciate that. So I'm using this guitar exclusively with Gabriel the Bull, and I think I would like thinner strings on it because it feels better. So, yeah, work up to all that stuff, okay? This is a marathon, too. Remember, it's not a sprint. JC, please talk about strumming patterns. JC, we do not have the time since we're getting ready to end this here in about 5 minutes. But I can tell you in short, but it's not going to help you like the course is going to help you because I'm giving that to you for free with all of the strumming exercises that I want you to do in the order that I want you to do it. There's 5 levels of it. I show you how to go through this, then you're going to go through that. So I can tell you this real quick, but it's not going to help you, honestly, because you have to apply it. You have to have something there in front of you so that you go through it. Okay, so JC, when you're strumming, down beat will always get a down strum, and an up beat, when your foot comes up, is always going to get an up strum. And then you want to practice the various strumming exercises. Which strumming exercise is the one I'm giving you for free in the course? So it always leads back there because it just really does. That's why I didn't finish my thought about that. After writing the books and everything else, I wanted to create something that I could just say, here, man, I can't answer your questions because like you, I have other things that I got to do, and what have you. So I can't always be there for you. So, but I'm giving you this course, and so I created that course so that you literally have something that you could go to and learn all this stuff. And then if you still need me later, you want to get into pro or something like that, I'm there for you. But at least I can like literally hand that off to you and make you a better player, or you can make you a better player. But by going through that. Smiling Jack, thank you, my friend. That was my dad's, or is my dad's name. My dad passed away in 1994, so Smiling Jack, I love that. And he smiled all the time, so I appreciate that, bud. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yes, Emmy, thank you so much for mentioning that. I told you we've got 13 Dueling Ninjas back there in a box. We just ran out like just in time and then got these. So we were back ordered. We changed that on the website yesterday. We've got 13 in stock. If you want the Dueling Ninja, go to my store at YourGuitarSage.com and get it. People are digging this thing. They're totally loving it. So yeah, check that out. Okay. Also, yes, Emmy said this as well. Udemy, friends, we have over 1,000 lessons inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. And one of my goals here in life, as life unfolds for me and for you, is I wanted to bring all of these amazing players that I'm surrounded by, that are friends of mine, or I see them on the internet and I say, that guy has 100 views on this lesson that he's just slaying things, and I've got 1 million views on something that I'm barely getting by on or whatever. And I said, this guy needs to be teaching, right? So I'm bringing in these other instructors. We're building courses together, and we are putting those courses on Udemy, okay? Because that's their own thing, and I'm trying to create a platform for them to highlight them, to get them out there, spotlight, so you guys can meet them. But one of the things that we do is we say, hey, folks, the folks that we work with, we want to discount these. We want to deeply discount these for my students, and they've all agreed with that, and that's our agreement, and that's what we do. And so that little link that Emmy just put up on the screen, actually not, she put up the shop one, which you can find the pedals at and everything else, but the other one that she just put up before that, well, that's the other one. That's the Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you. That's the tip jar. But the one above that, YourGuitarSage.com/Udemy. If you click on that, that's where we discount courses. We just did one for like 92% off. Okay, so when we discount these courses, they are massively discounted. So if you want to learn slide guitar or blues or how to use your looper pedal or jazz or speed picking or finger picking, those courses are going to be coming out soon. Like, we're creating a massive catalog of these killer courses by the best instructors, and we're massively discounting them for you so that you guys can take advantage of it. I obviously am not going to teach you finger picking like Joe Robinson is. I'm not going to teach you slide like RJ Ronquillo is, or blues like Corey Congilio is, or speed picking like Jeff Duke is, or jazz like Chip Henderson is. Okay, I could go on and on and on. These are players that really are exceptional at what they do. I want to get them into the studio to create a package for you and massively discount it so that everybody wins, right? So that's what that link's all about. Bookmark that, friends, because what we do is, if you go to Udemy and you're spending, 100 and on one of those courses I have out there, it's $150. We discounted them. We discounted that to, like, I don't know, it's like $12 or something the other day. So we're doing this all the time. If you want those, you'll want to click on that and bookmark that page, because Emmy's constantly updating those coupons for you guys so that you can have them for cheap, okay? Are all those courses included in the Lifetime Pro membership? No, they are not, okay? There's a few of them that are in there. Like Robbie Calvo's course is in there. RJ Ronquillo's slide course is in there. His Blues Licks course is in there. I think we have one of the Jeff Duke courses in there. So what's that, like 4 or 5 courses? So those are in there. The other ones are not. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right, friends. I think that's where we're going to end this one today. We got so many things to do. We got lots for you guys that are coming up. So we need to get busy on that stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this today. I hope you got a lot out of it. I have other bar chord help for you. Now, if you need help actually playing the chords, here on YouTube, search YourGuitarSage bar, B-A-R, and I've got other videos for you. One for moving your hands around, and then other also explanations of similar to what I did earlier in the program here. I'm here for you. I want to help you. There's nothing that you cannot do on this guitar. I can promise you that. I would say there's nothing that you can't do in life, but you probably wouldn't believe me if I said that. You probably don't believe me if I say that there's nothing that you can't do on this guitar. But both of those statements are true if you do the work. Jimi Hendrix didn't come out of his mom's womb playing guitar like that. He wasn't playing like that at 7, okay? I don't think he picked up the guitar until 9 or 10 years old. So nonetheless, there's a day when we are introduced to guitar, and then we start practicing, and we suck until we don't suck anymore if you're practicing. So if you take these concepts, the sky is the limit. There's nothing stopping you from being everything that you are. Some of you are offended by that statement because now it's up to you. It's okay, you can walk away from it, or you can embrace it if it's something that you truly desire, and you literally can do anything that you want to do on the instrument if you do the work, okay? If you do the work. That's a big if, okay? So I'm here for you, friends. Please let me know how I can help take advantage of that free course that I'm giving you guys. Very first link below. And if you liked what I played there earlier in the program, amongst it being played over itself and the bad audio and everything else, sorry, go to GabrielTheBull.com and say hello to Gabe over there. All right, my friends, tell him Eric sent you. I'll see you.